Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This video is going to help you out about the process of registration with HCPC. Now, this is a sort of a checklist video that will help you to develop or prepare your documents. The only thing that I'm not going to discuss in this video is the HCPC course information form. Now, this course information form basically it involves your syllabus that you need to have in the soft form, and then in a separate video I'm going to talk about that how you will fill the course information form and what are the ways to fill it yourself, because you must know how to fill this form and you must know what are the contents of this form before you try to apply for the HCPC. Okay, now the first thing is you should decide whether you are trying to apply for HCPC registration on the basis of BSPT or DPT or MS or even PhD. So let's say if somebody has done just BSPT or DPT, they will apply using the documents required for the DPT or BSPT. If they have done MS and they want the HCPC to consider their MS also, they need to use the documents for the MS separately. So for every degree that you are going to use, you must have all of these documents. Okay, so first start with the documents. Now here you can see degree and transcript original attested by university and HCC Pakistan. Now when you take any degree or transcript from the university, you also get it attested from the same university on the back side. Okay, attested and verified. Now the next step is that your degree and transcript should be attested by the HEC, and this is a process that you can do yourself. You can take an appointment from the HEC online and then you can get these attested and verified from HEC. After that, you also need to get your degrees stamped from the Foreign Office. This is important because if you have to present your documents, it is better to have these done. Then the second thing is that you need to make attested photocopies of degree and transcript by the university or institute where you have done your degree. Now after this process, you must make a photocopy of your degree and transcript. Let's say if you are applying for using the BS or the DPT, so the copies of degree of DPT and transcript. But if you are using MS also, so make another copy of MS, degree and transcript. Okay, so what you will do that you will make a photocopy and then you will get it attested from the same institute that you have done your degree. Okay, so the principal or the head of the department must sign and stamp that photocopy from the front side, the degree and the photocopy transcript photocopy. Okay, now the next thing is you need to have English proficiency certificate original by the university or institute. So again, it should be on the university letterhead with date and reference number and signed and stamped by the head of the department or the principal. Now the next thing is you must take the clock hours certificate for that degree. For example, for DPT degree you must take clock hour certificate, and for MS degree you must take the clock hour certificate as well. Then again it should be on the university letterhead with date and reference number and signed and stamped by the HOD or the principal. Then the next thing is clinical hours certificate. This is also taken from the university or from the institute that you have done your degree, and it should mention all the clinical hours where you spent this much hours in, for example, in any ward or in any department or whatsoever. So again it should be on the university letterhead with date and reference number and signed and stamped by the head of the department. Now you can use the additional supporting documents that are sometimes called as annexures. For example, you can attach to any degree. For example, after using these you can also add these documents that okay, I have done a neurological physical therapy work or orthopedic physical therapy work and something like that, and it must be taken from the relevant institute from where you have done your degree, with the on the letterhead and with the date and reference number signed and stamped by the head of the department. Here you can see, if somebody is using the BSPT, he has to make all the documents for the BSPT. If DPT, then all the documents for the DPT. And if PP, DPT or MS, for every degree you must have to make these documents. It should be very clear to all of you guys that for every degree that you want to use for HCPC registration, you have to make all of these documents. So separate course information form for every degree and separate of these. After you have all of these things, and please remember they should not be 6 months old, so it is better to make them as fresh or as recent as possible, so you don't face some problems that because after 6 months they will not be considered valid. Now let's go to these things. You must have a PEPTA registration that should start from the date of your degree, your entry level degree, that can be BSPT or DPT, from the date that you finish your degree till date. That means that it must be valid and it must be extended to certain period of time. Let's say today is just 12th of this 30th of December 2022, so we can expect somebody to have the PEPTA registration for about, you can say, 2023, 2024, and it will help you. Okay, and also the certificate of good standing that is provided by the PEPTA. Now a valid passport, at least 2 or 3 years of validity, and work experience minimum 2 years, but it's better to have 3 years, 4 years or whatsoever, but minimum 2 years. And please remember that the work experience, it starts after your degree, not before your degree. So your degree, if it is finished, after that you can have the work experience. I don't consider, or people don't consider, any experience before degree. So please remember that you must have experience that starts after you have graduated. So it should be issued by a valid clinic, hospital or institute that has official email ID or some sort of website, and it must be on the letterhead of the clinic or the hospital or the institute. That should be dated and signed and stamped by the in charge or relevant authority that can verify the document as and when needed. Now all the documents must be a maximum of 6 months old, that I've told you above, and not more than that. Okay, so the attestations, for example, the original degree attestations and foreign officer attestations and transcripts original or passport original or even PEPTA certificate, they just are valid throughout until they are expired. For example, your passport or your PEPTA registration, but they remain valid. But apart from that, all of these things that I mentioned, you must please pay attention. All of these things, the photocopies especially, and other things, or any certificate like English proficiency certificate or clock hour certificate or clinical hour certificates, they must be maximum 6 months old. I recommend you to make them fresh. Then the bank statement or income tax return or driving license that can prove your identity. This is really very important for you to prove your identity. Once you apply online, they say that you must provide something to prove your identity. So I think the driving license or your income tax return, these are the good things to help you with. Once all your documents are ready, then please make photocopies of all the documents. Till now you have been making the original certificates and original documents. After that you have to make the photocopies of all the documents and then get it certified. Once you go for the process of certification, that means is that there must be somebody, let's say a grade 17, a government officer, a lawyer, a judge, or a doctor, or somebody that can attest your document, and he must write, or you must write on the document first, that not directly over the document, find a place that you can write on with your hand with pen that I certified that this is a true copy of the original document seen by me. It is called certified true copy. It is called certified true copy. So CTC is very important for all the documents that you are going to use. Okay, then when you have the CTC copies of all the documents, then you should scan these copies at 300 dpi resolution. Now this is important. 300 dpi resolution means that it should be very clear to see and it should not have any problem, so the quality is good enough, and you can make it in PDF, it is better. And then the HCPC course information form, first page and last page, which we are going to discuss inshallah in another video, how to fill this form and then how to make that form. And for this purpose you have to contact your institute and your university especially to get the syllabus, or sometime there are people who take some small amount of money to fill these forms for you and get it signed and stamped by yourself. Again, I must say that the scanning resolution should be at least 300 dpi, and for course information form you must have your curriculum or syllabus for all the degrees that you are trying to apply for. So make a checklist of all these documents and you can discuss it with me. If you have any problem, you can use my WhatsApp number to contact me, but I must say that please don't ask me questions that somebody just asked me this, that they want me to do the process instead of them, so I cannot do it. Please, you have to do it yourself, or there are people who charge for these things. The whole purpose of this video is to help you understand that you can do it yourself. It will take just 7 to 10 days to prepare all of these documents, and then you are good to go and apply for online registration with HCPC. Now remember the fact that this is the process which is just the first step. Now you are just trying to get evaluated by the HCPC at this level. If your application is accepted, of course there is an application fee for HCPC evaluation. If your application is accepted, then you have to pay another fee. So first about 550 or 542 pounds that you have to pay yourself to the HCPC for your evaluation. There is no entry test, there is no written examination, there is nothing like this for HCPC registration. You can do all of this by yourself or you can seek somebody's help. At least I must agree to the fact that okay, if somebody is charging you 10, 20, 30 or even let's say 50,000 for the whole of the process, even it is reasonable amount to pay for. But if somebody is charging you let's say 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs, then it's not good enough. This process can be done free of cost by yourself. You just have to make or prepare these documents. You can make a checklist of this and then you can even seek help or guidance from me. I hope you will like this video, and if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, do let me know. Thank you very much. Khuda Hafiz.